السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. After this, a person does not have to be a Muslim, although all people need Al-Islam, the religion that Allah created the people to follow. But a person does not have to be a Muslim to understand the importance of today's message. We have a sister upstairs. She's going to accept Al-Islam, inshallah, after this Khutbatul Jumu'ah. I want her, bi'idhnillah, to always remember this message and to equip herself with this message. Non-Muslims understand it and they appreciate it. And it is the message of the importance of planning and not doing things in a haphazard way, without giving important things your time, your consideration, and you plan it out. I remember being a little shorty that we learned about the story of the two squirrels, the one who gathered up the acorns and the nuts during the summertime in order to be saved and provided for in the winter. I remember that story. And the other squirrel who played around with me, wasted the time all through the summer. The people who taught me that lesson were non-Muslims. It was in the school. I don't know if you heard that message. It's a message that gives us this issue of the importance of planning. When I was a little shorty, I was young, I remember the idiom and the statement, "He who fails to plan, plans to fail." This is something we grew up with. You don't have to be a Muslim to understand this. Our youngsters who are in this audience, especially the older ones, in high school, in the university, you spend the whole year messing around, wasting time, and then at the end of the year, the exam comes. More than likely, you're going to fail, or you won't get a grade that you could have gotten had you applied yourself. So to just goof around all year for the whole school year, it's time for SATs, and you just goof around into the last day or two, you didn't plan to succeed, and more than likely it's going to be reflective in your grades. That's just the sunnah of Allah. Today's message is about the importance of planning and preparing yourself. One of the last ayat, or it may be the last ayat that was revealed in the Quran. And we know as Muslims, the first ayat that were revealed, they're important. They're madlulat. They're the first ayat. The longest ayat of the Quran, the ayat of the debt. It's the longest ayat. The greatest ayat, ayatul kursi. This is from the understanding of the depth of the importance of issues. The last ayat that was revealed in the Quran is an ayat that Abdullah ibn Abbas said, this is the last ayat. Allah talked about riba in Surah Al-Baqarah and how evil it is. And then he ended the issue about riba with this last ayah. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمٍ تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلَّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. All of the ayahs about riba. Stay away from riba. Riba is a problem. Riba is going to get you in trouble. You're going to be at war with Allah. Riba is like having relationships with your mother and all of that. All of those ayat. And then the ayat was revealed that Abdullah ibn Abbas said it was the last ayat of the Quran. And fear the day when all of you are going to return to Allah. And every single soul is going to receive what he put forth. And nobody is going to be oppressed. This ayat is telling us you have to prepare. We have to prepare and not be like those people who death comes to us and it comes, we didn't expect it. Yawm al-Qiyamah comes to us, baghdatan, we wouldn't expect it. We didn't make preparations. So many of the ayat of the Quran talk about the people who prepared for Yawm al-Qiyamah and people who didn't prepare. Abdullah ibn Abbas said the meaning of this ayat is prepare for Yawm al-Qiyamah by giving up riba, by getting yourself together. Another ayat we can add on to that is the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَيَقُولُ هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَهْ إِنِّي ظَنَنْتُ أَنِّي مُلَاقٍ حِسَابِيَهْ. The one who was given his deeds in his right hand, Yawm al-Qiyamah, because he prepared for Yawm al-Qiyamah. He prayed, fasted, Hajj, Umrah. She wore proper hijab. She didn't just go out here with just any kind of hijab. No, proper hijab. May halal, halal, haram, haram, all of those things. He will be given his book in his right hand, and he's going to say, oh, here is my book. Read it, read it, read it. This is my book. Verily, I knew, I had certainty that I was going to be held accountable on this day. So that's the one who's given his book in his right hand because he prepared. The one who will be given a book in the left hand, he didn't pray. He didn't do this, he didn't do that. He did everything. This one, he didn't prepare. It's one of the tremendous ayahs. Prepare. From al-Islam, from the Quran, from the Sunnah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned an ayat in which he commanded Rasulullah to prepare for a serious issue. وَعِدُّوا لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ وَمِن رِبَاطِ الْخَيْلِ تُرْهِبُونَ بِهِ عَدُوَّ اللَّهِ وَعَدُوَّكُمْ وَآخَرِينَ مِن دُونِهِمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَهُمُ اللَّهُ يَعْلَمُهُمْ. Ya Muhammad, you are responsible for spreading Islam. There are some people who are not going to listen to rhetoric and to dawah. They're going to fight against you. For those people, Ya Muhammad, prepare for them. Prepare to meet them with might and power and with powerful horses that you're going to ride to deal with them, so that you will strike fear in the hearts of Allah's enemies and in your heart, the hearts of your enemies, and the hearts of people who are, you don't even know them. Allah knows them. When the other people see how you prepared for that jihad and how you decimated and dealt with those people are going to respect you and respect your religion. And they're not going to want to deal with you. So prepare, ya Muhammad. Don't go haphazardly. So the Nabi would go to fight the enemy during his time in Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would send these people over there. You do this. Those people, you go do this. You do this, you do that. He just didn't go out there with his eyes closed. He prepared. وَخُذُوا حِذْرَكُمْ, as Allah said. Take your precautions and prepare and get ready. In the battle of Uhud, he told those companions, you group of people stand on this little mountain next to Uhud. You stand there. And even if you see birds coming down and grabbing us from the sky, don't you leave that mountain. Don't you leave that mountain. That's preparation from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He wasn't a person who was haphazard. So I think most of you know he was considered and voted to be the single most influential human being in history. One of the aspects of his history is as a strategic individual in war and military battles, his moves and his decisions are being studied in the Citadel and in West Point and in other places where now Muslims recognize him as a general. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Gotta prepare. I told you once before, either in the khutbah or in a lesson, there were a group of people who came from Hajj, from Yemen, and they decided that they were not going to bring any provisions and any preparation. They were just going to come to make Hajj in Mecca and allow the community to take care of them. Allah is going to reward us. Someone comes on a trip from New Jersey to Florida. He has to prepare for the trip. He has to prepare. How does he get to the airport? Which plane does he take? If he's taking a plane, when does he check in? He has to leave people responsible for his affairs. He has to have somewhere where he's staying. What is he going to eat? He can't just be haphazard and just say, I'm going to take a trip. That's basic, fundamental, and it is easy to understand. Those people said, no, we're going to go and worship Allah at his house, and Allah will send us provisions some way, somehow. When the Prophet heard about that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the ayah came down from the Quran, وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Hey, you people, when you travel, bring your provisions with you. Take your provisions. Take your clothes. Take responsibility for what is going to make your life easy. Preparation is an integral aspect of the existence of every human being. The more a person is tuned into preparing, inshallah, the more apt he or she is going to be when it comes to being successful. Preparations. From what we have from the Sunnah, and there are a lot of issues, is that our children, all of the Sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam teaches us the importance. You want good children, there are things that you should do to the best of your ability. And in the final analysis, al-hidayah and guidance is with Allah. But there are things that you can do. If you don't do these things, you're planning on having failure as it relates to your child. Failure in the deen and failure in the dunya. There are things you're supposed to do. Before the child is even born, the Prophet told us you got to marry a particular type of woman. We have a sister upstairs who's a non-Muslim. She's going to accept Islam today, inshallah, after this khutbatul Jumu'ah, and then she's going to get married, this sister. You want to get married, Abdul Shakur? You want to get married, Tex? You want to get married? You have to prepare. Does that mean you have to be the richest person walking around? You have to have a bundle of money, loads? It doesn't mean that. But you have to prepare. Can you afford to get married right now? Can you take care of the house, the apartment, the responsibilities? You don't just get married in Islam like that. Part of the responsibility and preparation is you have to look at the girl that you want to marry. And she has to look at the man that she wants to marry. Because in your choice and your decision, in that preparation, inshallah, you'll be successful, inshallah, more apt to be successful. So before the child, your child, my child is even born, the Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if a man or woman, if you want to have relationships, then you should say Bismillah, the name of Allah. Allahumma jannibna shaitan wa jannib ash-shaytana ma razaqtana. Don't just begin the process of doing what the man does with the woman at that time, but take your time and make that dua. Oh Allah, protect me and my wife from the shaitan and protect our child from the shaitan. He said, if you make that dua, the shaitan will be prevented from touching your child. He will be prevented. And I tell you, it's a fitna, because many people don't know the dua. And many people who know the dua won't say the dua for one reason or another. And it's planning for the success of your child. And he wasn't even, and not even created yet. One of his companions came and said, Ya Rasulullah, I married and I contracted marriage to one of the women from the Ansar. And this man was from the Muhajirin of Mecca. He contracted a marriage with a lady from the Ansar, a different group, different ethnic group, different from who he is. For an example, he's from Mecca, she's from Medina. He's from Quraysh, she's from another tribe. He's from Guyana, she's from Trinidad. He's an Arab, she's not an Arab. I married the lady and she's from the Ansar. He asked the man, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did you look at the lady? Did you actually see the lady to see what you were getting? How tall she is? How she looks? Did you get a chance to talk to that lady to see her mentality? To see her background? Did you really check? Or were you one of those people, you were just listening to music and watching movies and reading novels and you thought that was marriage? Did you look at her? He said, no, Ya Rasulullah, gonna rely on Allah. I'm just gonna get married. Throw caution to the wind. Islam told us to get married, I'm just gonna get married. Rasulullah said, no. He said, you go and you look at that woman. Look at what is going to invite you to marry her. For verily, the women of her tribe, the Ansar, they have something in their eye. There's something hereditary with those people. It's not her fault. It's what they get from their forefathers. Something is in her. The point is, what was that something in her? That's not the point. The point is that something that was in her eye can be something that will turn you off. So don't get married too quick. And when it's time to get married, make preparations. Now, there are many ayat and many hadith that we can continue to mention, but what's the point today? What's the point? The point here today, Ummatul Islam, is preparation, brother. Preparation in every aspect of your life, that is important. The more important it is, inshallah, the more thought should go into the process of making it a reality. So what's the connection of preparation? The month of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan. Ramadan is fastly approaching, inshallah. Just look up at the moon right here somewhere at Maghrib time, Isha time. It's almost going to be a full moon soon, inshallah. It's right around the corner. From the preparation of Islam is what we mentioned last week, the preparation of fasting. The month of Sha'ban, he used to fast more in this month in preparation for Ramadan. Don't let Ramadan just come to you and it just slaps you in the face. And as a result of lack of preparation, you're not ready for it. This Sunday, you're going to have someone over for dinner. You have to prepare for that. Today you have to go to the store and buy what you're going to buy. And now you have to start figuring out what you're going to serve and how you're going to serve it. What time is going. Everybody accepts that. Ramadan is fastly approaching. So now is the time to prepare for Ramadan. And I want to mention something to you that is critical in preparation for Ramadan. And there is one category of individuals in our community. And this is not a knock on you. This is not putting you down. This is speaking to everyone, because you'll be a fortunate person, Maymoon, if this issue doesn't hit you. Because the society we live in, almost all of us, if not all of us, is hitting us in one way or another. You're on one side of the fence of this issue, and that is, what does it look like the month of Ramadan comes and we're excited about it and we're getting ready for it and we're preparing for it mentally and physically. But when the month comes, lo and behold, we never sorted out the debts that we owe people. And I'm not talking about the debts that you have with non-Muslims, for an example. And I'm not talking about the one who has money to pay his debt, the one who doesn't have money to pay his debt back. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the person who has borrowed money from someone else and he has the ability to pay him back, and he didn't pay him back yet. And Ramadan is coming. Not only is he ready mentally and getting ready for Ramadan, not only that, he's going to put his name down as one of the people who's going to provide the iftar for that particular day, which is a good thing. But you know, you're preparing the iftar and your fast and your sadaqah and your efforts and the things that you do in Ramadan, that stuff is going to go to that individual. And you'll be fasting, but you make yourself hungry and thirsty. As for the real true essence and the reward of that Ramadan and that fasting, he's the one who's going to get it. And the one from amongst us who people have taken money from you and you gave them the money and he's running around and he's avoiding you. 2 years, 3 years, 6 years, 10 years, and you still owe him money or he owes you money, then you have to have yaqeen and husn al-dhan billah, a good opinion about Allah. It may be that you hate something and hate it as a lot of good. I'm not telling you to be happy with the one who owes you money. I'm saying don't fight back his oppression with oppression. And why do we call it oppression? I made it clear who I'm referring to here, who I'm trying to be a voice of reason in your ear and in your mind. Ramadan is coming, man. Pay the people their money back. You owe the people the money. Why is it dhulm? Why is it oppression? The Nabi mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the one who has the money and he procrastinates and he delays paying the money, this is oppression. Now, if he doesn't have the money, if he just relies on Allah and he continues to work and he has a raja and he has a good opinion about Allah, Allah is responsible for him. Allah is responsible for 3 people. He will take care of 3 people, the Nabi said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He'll take care of the one who was a mujahid and he went out to fight for al-Islam. Allah take care of him and his family. Allah will take care of the young person, man or woman, who gets married in order to protect their chastity. They could shack up, they could live together, they could do their thing, but if they get married, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be responsible for them. So if he doesn't have a bundle of money, he doesn't have it, that doesn't mean he shouldn't get married. He has to prepare, and having some money is part of that, because the responsibility of the man is to take care of his wife. The third person that Allah is responsible for is the individual who borrowed money from someone and he had the intent of paying it back. He really needed the money. He needed it. He was in a hard situation. He borrowed the money. He wasn't trying to rip anyone off. He wasn't trying to cheat or gyp anyone. He got the money. And it bothers him that he's not paid yet. A proof of it bothers him is he makes tawbah to Allah. He asks Allah to help him. The situation is even good for him because he's the type of person who he has a conscience. So he's asking Allah, he's connected to Allah. In addition to that, he doesn't avoid the man who he took the money from. He doesn't avoid him. He doesn't lie to him and say, I'm going to give it to you next week. I'll give it to you the following week. I'll see you here, I'll see you there. And he's lying, just stringing them along. He's not sincere. As for the one that the hadith said, if you borrow money from anybody and you have the intent of paying it back, then pay it back. So preparation for the month of Ramadan. We can take this issue of owing people money and make qiyas of it and make an example of that, a similarity with many things. I'm not judging anybody, but smoking is a problem. It's a problem. We're already confronted with, what we eat and our lifestyle and what these people are feeding us and the way we eat. We're going to add on to that smoking nicotine. It's not easy for people to quit smoking. I understand that. Part of preparation for the month of Ramadan, and this is an example. And I thank Allah Azza wa Jalla because I've been to probably most of the masjids that I've ever been connected to, It is common to see after the Jumu'ah, after the prayer, people smoking outside at the front of the masjid. This is not something I saw in Masjid As-Sunnah. Something that we have, alhamdulillah, we thank Allah for that. But does that mean we don't have anybody who smokes? We have men who smoke, we have women who smoke, we have kids who smoke. We have men who smoke, women who smoke. And now the situation is getting so bad in the Muslim world where there was a time smoking is haram. And it's against the muru'ah, and it's against the sharaf and the honor and nobility of a woman. She may smoke, but she's going to smoke away from the people. Now she's smoking out in public. I don't say smoke behind the screen, that's halal. I'm saying it's a lesser in evil. Point we want to make here is, now is the time to prepare for the month of Ramadan. Don't just wait until Ramadan while you're fasting and then you're going to try to stop smoking at that time, saying to yourself, I'm going to smoke and I'm going to stop in Ramadan. I'm going to stop in Ramadan. You didn't stop last Ramadan. You didn't stop the Ramadan before that. So do something differently. Now in the month of Sha'ban, start trying to get off of smoking, because when you fast in the month of Ramadan, your body reacts to the need and the desire for nicotine. Unlike this month. So I want to just gently advise everybody here. We have to look at ourselves as individuals. What is the nature and the reality of the Ramadan that we're trying to create for ourselves and make for ourselves? It should be that Ramadan in which we become better people. So you look at yourself, I have to look at myself. We all have to consider what are our points, our bad points and qualities in our character that we need to get on top of. Start doing it now and make preparation, inshallah, to really wrestle with those things in the blessed month of Ramadan. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله التوفيق والثبات. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا وطيبا مباركا فيه، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. When I got news only 20 minutes ago or something like that, that this sister, these people were going to accept Islam and get married, I said to myself, anybody wants to accept Islam, we have to hurry up and give them that shahada as soon as possible. It shouldn't be delayed, because no one is promised that they're going to live to the next moment, a second or third moment. So we got to do it right now. But clearly, I didn't have time for that. I have to come to the masjid. We got to deal with the khutbah till Jumu'ah. Allah knows our situation, so we're going to give that sister, inshallah, her shahada after this. I'm going to marry that sister to one of our Muslim brothers after this, inshallah. Any and everybody is welcome to stay behind to witness the particular nikah that's going to happen. The other thing, when I accepted Islam back in the day in 1986, I was a brand spanking new Muslim. There was a brother there who was busy with the Arabic language. And I was a new Muslim, and I looked at him as one of the people who, mashallah, he was really having ijtihad and excelling. 3 brothers had his name: Khalifa Abdul Wali, Khalifa Shabazz, and his name was Khalifa Bashir. I was impressed with him and the other 2. And I read about the name Khalifa in a book. I said, I'm going to take that name. My name is Khalifa. You don't know, my name is Abu Sam Makunya, but my name is Khalifa. We were 4 Khalifas. I got a call from that brother and his family and said, hey, we're here in Qasimi. We're going to come and we're going to come to your masjid. I say, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're going to see a nice community, welcome. And you can park in my parking space as well. He was just trying to do his job. Al-Islam is spreading, brothers and sisters. We have many Latino men and women, youngsters, who are embracing this Islam. If you look at that table right there, you'll see there is a lot of material in Spanish. It was a lot before, and now it's getting lower and lower and lower. Despite the fact that the non-Muslims wanted to put a bad picture to al-Islam, I became a Muslim, Khalifa became a Muslim, Abdul Hadi became a Muslim, Muhammad became a Muslim, Abdullah became a Muslim, this became a Muslim. And in this environment that we're dealing with right now, where people are saying they're going to go into Gaza and take over Gaza, you know, we're in a really, really serious, offending time. But despite them, al-Islam is the deen of Allah, which goes to show about preparation. Whether we prepare or not, whether we pray or not, whether we do Ramadan or not, whether we fast in Ramadan, but it's the same cultural fast, whether we do it or not, it makes no difference to Allah as it relates to his religion. This religion is going to spread. But the part of the religion, or the religion that we want to spread, is the religion that is correct. That young sister is going to become a Muslim, inshallah, Hispanic, Latino. We say to her, there are many Muslims you're going to see around here. But you have to understand, you have to read and prepare yourself for the day you're going to meet Allah. And it won't be an excuse if you say, I just left myself ignorant and I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to guide that sister, to guide her to which way is right, and the brother that she's going to marry, inshallah, to make him a key that opens up the door of good. And we're going to stand next to that sister and by that sister and helping and supporting the situation. But because she's a revert, she's Hispanic, Latino, we're not going to just leave her out on an island back there and everything can happen to her. This religion and the people of this masjid are going to stand with her and stand with the brother. And stand with the brother. So brothers and sisters, help al-Islam by helping this masjid, because we have a lot of people who are coming into this religion on a constant, and it's always happening. So although you don't have to give the khutbah, you don't have to lead the salah, you don't have to be the imam in the month of Ramadan, you can still help with your money. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this blessed day, on this member, that he blesses all of the members and the people from Masjid As-Sunnah, whether you're a person who comes here all the time or not, but that he puts barakah and hidayah and khair in your lives and the lives of those people who are near and dear to you, from your relatives, your children and your parents and so forth and so on. May Allah ta'ala make things easy for us and easy for you.